Hey guys, how are we doing? Back on another video from Geekdom 101, another transformation guide video. I really like these because I like learning stuff behind the scenes as well as like what it actually was within the show. I always learn something new every time, and I say this every time because it is true. I love Geekdom's videos, they're so informative and fun. It looks like now he's finished this Dragon Ball Z transformation stuff, and he said he was going to go on to the GT stuff, which is like, ugh, but still. I find it's going to be quite interesting. This is the Golden Great Ape, which was like the form that Goku did before Super Saiyan 4, was it? So, I think. I'm trying to remember GT. It was so long ago. But anyway, let's do this.
I've had a lot of fun producing the transformation guide videos all year, and now we are finally finished with the Dragon Ball Z portion of the story.
Right, yeah.
Now, if you're wondering about other things like explaining the Kaioken and Ultimate Gohan, I've already done a video 2 years ago that's over 1 million views discussing and breaking down Ultimate Gohan, so that will not be a part of the series.
Fair enough.
And as far as the Kaioken goes, that is a technique, not a transformation. But at some point in the future, I will do an in-depth breakdown of the Kaioken, so no worries on that. But the time has come to move on to Dragon Ball GT, which has its own set of transformations that a lot of fans love. And we're going to start the Dragon Ball GT portion of the transformation guide by going into one of my favorite forms, one of the more underrated forms, and one that I think is cool as hell no matter which way you slice it.
Yeah.
Golden Great Ape. I love it. Let's talk about it.
Cool. Transformation guide.
So a lot of people really don't like Dragon Ball GT, but one of the things Dragon Ball GT did that I always found really cool is that they would reference things from Dragon Ball Z, even small things, and turn them into full story arcs or concepts for GT. For example, when the old Supreme Kai warned the people about using the Dragon Balls and overusing them for these purposes, that wound up being the story concept that would lead into the Dark Dragon arc of GT. And with Golden Uzaru, Golden Great Ape, it's very similar. Obviously, like I said in my Truth About Dragon Ball GT video, Toriyama's involvement in GT has been very much misunderstood by fans. He was involved in the early stages of the project, but later on, as the series progressed, he took a step back and other people came along to kind of take the reins of the creative direction. But one thing that I found fascinating is that when it comes to the Golden Uzaru, Golden Great Ape form, this whole thing, this whole concept started in a Dragon Ball Z episode.
There was a flashback to the Super Saiyan.
Vegeta having a flashback of the original Super Saiyan. When Goku shows up on Namek to elbow Raccoon, Vegeta's freaking out. And he's talking about how the last Super Saiyan, which was, I believe, 1,000 years before, even though I think in the old English dub they said 3,000, which was a mistake. But basically, Vegeta heard throughout the years,
so yeah, I feel like it was a reference to that as well.
The form while being in Great Ape. And I'm not going to get into a whole debate about who is Legendary Super Saiyan, because that's a different topic. Like, you could sit here and debate Bardock or Yamoshi or Broly, but that's, again, different topic, different video. Nonetheless, Vegeta, hearing this legend for years and years since he was a child, had heard that it could only be done in golden form. And then when Dragon Ball GT came around, they took that concept and actually materialized it into a transformation that Goku is the first one outside of that original Super Saiyan to actually achieve this power. And when I was a kid and I first saw Dragon Ball GT, I always assumed that Golden Great Ape was the true Super Saiyan transformation.
I kind of thought something like that,
that went around for years that I kind of agreed with, where Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3 were just mutations, and the true form was Golden Uzaru. Now, obviously, because the Golden Uzaru form did not really come from Toriyama, to my knowledge, it's just a bad retcon. It's not one that I really want to think about, but it is a popular theory and one that does make sense within the confines of GT. So if you follow the Dragon Ball timeline and include GT in your personal continuity or canon, it does kind of make sense that this is the true Super Saiyan form. And it all started, the whole concept is from this one flashback in an old DBZ episode that aired years earlier. So anyways, this form is referred to as Golden Great Ape, Golden Uzaru, Ogon Uzaru, and to some people, Super Saiyan Great Ape or Super Uzaru. That's more of a fan-made term than anything else. The Dragon Ball GT Perfect Files actually validates the legendary status of this form.
Oh, okay.
But what's interesting is how they achieve this form. You cannot become a golden great ape just by training. And I like that about this form, and that's very different. What happens is during the baby arc of Dragon Ball GT, Goku is, of course, back to being a kid again because of Pilaf's wish at the very beginning of the series, and he's battling it out with Baby on planet Sufuru, or New Planet Plant, whatever you want to call it, the resurrection of planet Vegeta. And what ends up happening is Dragon Ball GT goes back to the early Dragon Ball Z lore about how a Saiyan is at his biggest strength with his tail, which is what we discussed in the Great Ape form video, which was the first transformation guide I did several months ago. But anyways, the Kaioshin decide to regrow Goku's tail, if that makes sense, and they manage to pull it back out again.
Yeah, I remember that.
That might give him a new power. Well, the gamble actually worked. So what ends up happening is you have adult Goku in a child body, but he still retains most of his strength, and he stares not at the full moon, but at the full Earth. The battle is on New Planet Sufuru, and the Blutz waves, or the Blutz waves from the Earth, are glimmering into Goku's pores, and the full Earth's power seems to be astronomically higher in potency than even the moon, and triggers a transformation in Goku's body.
Boom, his chest goes crazy.
Fandom, it's been talked about for many years that the reason why Goku was able to really tap into this form is not just the potency of the Brutes waves, but also the fact that it was Goku post Super Saiyan. Because remember, Goku and the other characters, when they achieved Super Saiyan, they didn't really have to go back to Great Ape. It's a much bigger multiplier anyway, so why would you? Now, that being said, there's no clear answer as to whether or not you have to have knowledge of Super Saiyan or have to be able to transform into one to tap into the Great Ape, unless you go to an interview that was done in the December 2003 issue of Anime Insider. Now, understand, Anime Insider is an American magazine, and these questions are being answered by staff that worked on the series in North America, not Shueisha or Japan. And those of you who have studied the history of the English dub, you know that Funimation made many, many, many mistakes during this time, and thus things that they say should not be taken as gospel.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Angelica from Phoenix, Arizona talks about the long blonde hair of Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4's body hair and the form in between. Well, the answer that Funimation gave was that this is a special mode only achieved after Super Saiyan 3 level. That, to me, might make some sense, but it really doesn't, because Vegeta was able to do it without doing Super Saiyan 3. So you do not have to have Super Saiyan 3 to achieve this power. Now, obviously, the way Vegeta did it was different than Goku, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Nonetheless, there's no actual official statement from any guidebook that I have found that states that you have to be a Super Saiyan to unlock Golden Great Ape. But again, it does make sense. It's almost like he's going Super Saiyan inside of the Great Ape form. But remember, when you become a Great Ape, you lose control of your mental faculties and you rampage. So Goku didn't even know what he was doing, as you can see in the series. Goku is rampaging about as a Golden Great Ape, not sure who he is or who his enemies are. But once he manages to take control of this, he mutates once again and becomes Super Saiyan 4. Now, I don't recall ever seeing an actual written multiplier for this form, but it's safe to say it's not the traditional 10 times multiplier that the regular Great Ape form has. It has to be much, 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 much higher, because this version of Goku is very, very powerful. We first see it in Dragon Ball GT episode 33, but once Pan is able to calm him down, then he gains control of himself. It becomes SS4. Super Saiyan 4 Goku just obliterates Baby, and Baby decides that he needs a power-up. So what happens is Bulma, who at the time was already sort of a zombified version of herself under the control of Baby, she magnifies her Brutes Waves machine and manages to shoot a whole bunch of Brutes Waves at him, which evolves him into a Golden Great Ape. So the real secret of Golden Great Ape is the amount of Blutz waves or Brutes waves. I'm pronouncing them both different ways. You can call it however you want. It's the same thing. The amount of these waves going into a character is what really triggers the power. Because the Earth and these machines are way stronger than just the moon. Way
Seems
stronger.
like it.
Which makes you wonder about other planets that Saiyans may have inhabited throughout their history if this transformation was triggered elsewhere. Now, unlike Goku, Baby Vegeta in this form pretends to be rampaging around, but he has full control of himself. Now, the reason for that is because, if you remember in Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta trained in his Great Ape form prior to
Yeah.
fighting Goku, so when he
So
did it
he
in
was
his
able
first
to
fight with
control it.
Goku, he was able to have complete control of himself.
That makes so much
and
sense.
that's purely based on Vegeta's training, and because Baby's inside of Vegeta's body, he retained that ability. So
Right.
Golden Great
Keeps
Ape
the
form
knowledge.
for Vegeta acts very similar to how Great Ape acted for Vegeta and Z, and of course the Great Ape form for Goku matches that as well. You got the rampaging, untrained monster as Goku.
That makes sense.
You've got
That's
the
cool.
trained, sort of more knowledgeable Vegeta here. It's kind of just being redone. That's one thing GT did kind of do, is that it really did repeat a lot of the formulas from Dragon Ball Z. Baby would do this in Dragon Ball GT episode 35, but remember, just because Baby Vegeta could do this does not mean that Vegeta by himself could, and the reality is he couldn't until Dragon Ball GT episode 59. So Bulma's Bruce Wave machine returns, and this time blasts Vegeta with a lot of these damn things in his regular humanoid form.
And he just goes to Team 4, doesn't he?
Once again transforms to a Great Ape, but this time it's a brown, original Uzaru.
I'm not remembering this right.
One. But then shortly after, Vegeta transforms right away into a Golden Great Ape and then right into Super Saiyan 4. So
right,
it's one of those things
okay,
where it really
skips
validates
over the steps.
the theory that Golden Great Ape can be achieved from regular Great Ape if you have Super Saiyan knowledge. So to me, Vegeta's version of this actually validates that theory. Even though there's never been an official statement on it, it makes sense here. So here's a bit of random trivia that many fans probably don't know about. The Golden Uzaru form, or at least a version of it, does appear again, but not in Dragon Ball. And no, I'm not talking about Heroes. In the 1997 Dr. Slump reboot series, there is an episode where Goku becomes a Great Ape and then goes Super Saiyan. It's only in that series, in that anime, and only in that anime. There is no version of that in the Dr. Slump manga, because
that's
the
crazy.
Slump manga came out in the early 80s, way before Toriyama even came up with the original Great Ape form. But it's cool that that TV series brought back the Golden Great Ape, even if it was short-lived. It's a fun little Easter egg that I always loved. Unfortunately, when it comes to Dragon Ball GT, Golden Great Ape was only used in these instances. We never saw Gohan or anybody else use this form, and even though it's popped up again in Heroes with Cumber and other characters, it's just something that was unfortunately short-lived, because I always felt like this should have been like the strongest Saiyan form, even more than Super Saiyan 4. Like, I've always felt like the way it looks and the concept behind it should equal out to being incredible power. In fact, we kind of got screwed here, because my whole thing was, wouldn't it have been awesome if Golden Great Ape Goku fought Golden Great Ape Baby Vegeta? Two Super Saiyan Great Apes pummeling each other on a planet, destroying stuff like Godzilla. That would be an awesome thing ever, and we never saw it. But Golden Great Ape will always be one of my favorite ideas, one of my favorite concepts GT did, and one that I think is just so cool and such a great throwback to where Dragon Ball first kind of started with the transforming Goku. Now, obviously, Golden Great Ape transforms literally right into Super Saiyan 4. A fan favorite to many, so stay tuned for that
design.
Very, very soon. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, check out these as well.
That was cool. I like the theories, I like the random... See, you learned something, like the Dr. Slump episode had an Easter egg where they showed it. That's cool. The theories, the explanation, that was really cool. That was good, and I look forward to the rest. I'll Super Saiyan 4. As much as I don't like GT, he's not wrong. The transformations within GT were interesting. So yeah, until then, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. Next time.